Hi there, I'm John from CNCKing.com, and today we make custom 316 stainless steel plates. My company does more and more custom stainless steel plates here in the shop every year, and this year is definitely no different than the previous years because we're just beating records left and right across all the materials, but mostly stainless steel. Now the nice thing about stainless steel is that it's very corrosive resistant. So if you can't afford, let's say, stainless steel, we can also do these plaques out of anodized aluminum. But for rigidity, strength, weight, everything, there's nothing that really beats this. And the nice thing about stainless steel is you can also weld it directly to your stainless steel other items. So in this case here, this is going at the bottom of a mine shaft. And apparently 316 stainless steel is the bare minimum you got to use for that, for this specific application. Now what we're going to do here in the shop is I'll just show you the plasma cutting of it. But as you can see, we also did holes for it. That's a secondary process using a drill. The reason we don't use the plasma for that is because we produce a nicer edge quality on very, very small holes like this using a drill than using your plasma. And it's also more cost effective. So that's also why we don't cut these with the water jet, because cutting these with the water jet takes a lot longer, costs a lot more money. And yes, you can also do the little holes in the here, but it's not as cost effective. Nothing beats a drill and nothing beats a plasma when it comes to cutting something like this here. Of all the processes here I use in the shop when it comes to doing custom fabrication, definitely the most fun one is plasma cutting, just because of all the sparks and the flames and all that kind of stuff. It just looks really cool when you're next to it and you just feel the heat and the power of the machine spraying this stuff all over you. So I basically wear welding equipment when I do this kind of work, because these sparks just get everywhere. You got to wear a respirator and all that kind of stuff too, because the fumes from melted stainless steel are probably not too good for your lungs. When it comes to doing this kind of process here, it does take a bit of programming to get it correctly. Some of our customers are very specific as to the grain pattern as well, because we can get stainless steel that's already pre-brushed, and we want the grain of these stainless steel to be on horizontal, vertical, or what have you. Now when it comes to making custom signage, that's generally where it's more specific. But this kind of project here, generally the customer doesn't really care as long as it meets the spec that they need. Now the secondary process, which I don't show in this video, is actually the fiber etching on the stainless steel. And that's a very important process because it's a way of branding the stainless steel permanently. And I know that it's permanent because I've sometimes had to take it off because I screwed up on jobs, and it's just about impossible. There's no point doing it. It just involves an angle grinder, way too much time, way too much heat, just from the grinding process, and you just end up screwing the plate anyways. So as far as I'm concerned, fiber etching on stainless steel will last an eternity. I don't think anybody's going to wear that out, even if it's outdoors, in the hot sun or in the Arctic where it's really, really cold. It doesn't really matter. That stuff just stays on there. Now, unlike inks or dyes, they have temperature variations. So if it gets too hot, or it starts to crack, if it's too cold, it starts to crack or dry out or what have you. But with fiber etching, there's none of that. It's actually the steel itself that is tempered and is etched into it, depending on the process. We do some jobs here where we have to get into, maybe a thousandth or 100th of depth into the stainless steel, and we use our fiber etching for that. Generally we use our galvo if it's a smaller project, or if it's a bigger project with those kind of specs, we use our gantry system. Now, as you see here, this is just about done, and I don't think I could have optimized this any better across the plate. Again, the more plates I get off of a sheet like this, the more cost effective it becomes for the customer. Now when it comes to the specs of your projects that you need done out of stainless steel specifically, we can do that basically up to 2 inches thick using the plasma cutter. If you had something even thicker than that, we can also do that with the water jet. Water jet, there's no real limit, it's just how much money do you have, because you're basically spending a lot of money on garnet and time, and the head is just moving incredibly slow because it's an abrasive process, while this is basically a melting process. So it gives you an idea of the different specs that are possible. Now for the finish on it, generally what I just use an orbital. It produces a really nice finish, as you can see. It's a nice matte finish, but if you wanted like a brush steel, we can do that as well. Or we could just leave it as is straight off the bat. We do that sometimes for signage, so we leave the mill scale on there. It doesn't really matter because they're going to do other processes with it in their own shop. Now the other thing you want to keep in mind is with stainless steel is that it does scratch. But the nice thing about stainless steel, unlike let's say anodized aluminum that you scratch, is that you can actually take the scratch out just by using Scotch-Brite. And I've done that here in the shop before, because sometimes stuff happens, a plate might fall down or whatever, and you end up with a little scratch. You can actually take that right off the stainless steel, which is pretty cool. So if you're looking for custom stainless steel plaques, any spec, any design, contact me at CNCKing.com. We'll cut it for you, design whatever options you need on it, and then we'll ship it right to your door.